The segment opened with thunderous applause as Vin Diesel, dressed in a charcoal leather jacket and black tee, strolled confidently onto the stage of The View, flashing his signature grin and giving high fists to the hosts. Joy Behar, always ready with a quip, welcomed him with a playful smirk. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who redefined action movies and masculinity with nothing but a muscle car and a mumble, Vin Diesel. The audience roared. Vin chuckled. It's all about family. Joy, you know that, eliciting more cheers. The tone was warm, nostalgic, and jovial. The hosts volleyed lighthearted questions about the Fast and Furious franchise, teasing Vin about how many more times Dominic Toretto could defy gravity and logic. Vin played along, joking, as long as people keep showing up, I'll keep driving through helicopters. Laughter filled the studio. Sonny Hostin asked about his upcoming projects, to which Vin mentioned a surprise sci-fi role that would take him deeper than any street race ever has. It was classic promo material, and he delivered it with charisma. For the first 10 minutes, everything flowed easily, smiles, giggles, crowd reactions, and perfectly timed commercial cutaways. But as the segment moved into deeper waters, Joy Behar glanced down at her note cards, then leaned forward slightly. Her tone shifted, barely perceptible at first, but those paying attention would notice the chill entering her voice. Then she said, tapping her fingers together, "You've spoken a lot about loyalty, about family, not just on screen, but off. And yet, some of your co-stars, they don't exactly echo that sentiment, do they?" Vin's eyes narrowed slightly, though his smile didn't fade. "You mean the Dwayne stuff?" he said with a calm edge. Joy nodded, not backing down. "I mean Dwayne Johnson, yes, but also Tyrese Michelle. Even that cryptic Instagram post from the director last year, remember that one? Some stars forget they shine because of the galaxy around them, I believe," it said. The crowd gave an uneasy murmur, then exhaled slowly, adjusting his mic. "Look, Joy, people are gonna say things when money's involved, when legacy's involved. I've always said, I'm about loyalty. I protect the franchise. I protect my cast." Joy didn't let go. Is that what that was? Protection. Because it kind of sounded like control. Like manipulation. Like maybe the family values were more PR than reality. The crowd let out a collective gasp. Vin straightened up, his easy demeanor evaporating. "Wow," he said, laughing humorlessly. "You really went there." Joy, unfazed, raised an eyebrow. "Isn't that what we do here?" she said sharply. "We go there." Vin leaned forward, suddenly, dead serious. "You don't know what went down. None of you do. You read tabloids, you spin it, and suddenly I'm the villain of a saga I built from the ground up." Sarah N., trying to cool things down, interjected, "Vin, I think what Joy's saying is that the public perception has shifted. There's this narrative now." Vin cut her off, voice rising. "Yeah, a narrative. Controlled by algorithms and outrage culture. I give 2 decades of my life to a franchise. And people want to play social media judge and jury because The Rock didn't like that I told him how to land a punch scene. That's what this is about." Joy clapped back instantly. "Or maybe it's about power. Vin, maybe it's about a man not willing to share the spotlight." That line hit hard. Vin stared at her, jaw clenched. "You know what's funny?" he said finally. "You sit there behind your desk, reading scripts written by researchers, trying to break people down under the guise of journalism. But you're not interested in truth. You want a headline? You want this, the moment I lose it, so you can post a clip with a spicy caption." Joy, leaning forward now, matched his intensity. "And yet, you're giving it to me. Maybe that says more about you than it does about me." The room crackled with tension. Whoopi Goldberg glanced nervously off camera. The control room was reportedly debating whether to cut to commercial early. The tension didn't simmer, it boiled. Vin took off his mic earpiece and tossed it lightly on the table, eyes never leaving Joy's. "You know what? Maybe I made a mistake coming here," he said. "I thought this was about movies, about legacy, not a public interrogation." Joy shrugged. "Maybe your legacy is the interrogation. Maybe that's what people are finally starting to realize." Vin's voice deepened, practically a growl. "You've never been on a set. You've never built something from nothing. I brought people up, gave them opportunities, made sure everyone ate, even when studios didn't want them. And now I'm being crucified because I expect the same level of discipline I give." The audience was silent. Whoopi finally tried to lighten the mood with a joke, but the moment had long passed. Vin stood up slowly, taking a deep breath. "I've done hundreds of interviews, Joy, but this is disrespect, dressed as journalism." He looked at the audience. "To anyone watching, know that what you see here isn't truth. It's performance, and I'm done playing this part." As he turned to leave, Joy muttered, almost too softly, "Maybe you were never acting, Vin. Maybe Dominic Toretto and Vin Diesel are the same guy. Controlling, obsessive, always one gear away from losing it." Vin stopped mid-stride. His back was to the hosts, the camera catching the tension in his stance. He didn't turn around immediately. When he did, his expression was unreadable. "You know," he said slowly, "that's the thing about family. They know how to hurt you the worst. Then, without another word, he walked off stage. The camera swung clumsily to Joy, who leaned back in her chair, visibly unshaken. While she said, after a long pause, "I guess he didn't like the view from here." The audience responded with a mix of gasps and awkward claps. Whoopi gave her a sideways glance, murmuring, "Girl, you're gonna trend for days." The segment had gone viral before the credits even rolled. Backstage footage later leaked, showing Vin in a heated discussion with producers, saying, "You don't blindside people with gossip. I came here to talk about Riddick, not rehash Twitter beefs." A producer tried calming him down, saying it was just part of the gig, but Vin's voice was crystal clear. "Nah man, this wasn't a gig, this was a setup." Within hours, hashtags like #DieselVs Behar and #The View Meltdown were trending globally. Commentators dissected every word, every glare, every sarcastic quip. Clips of the exchange racked up millions of views. Supporters praised Vin's integrity and passion, calling him a real one for walking out instead of playing along. Critics accused him of ego, of being unable to handle tough questions. Joy appeared on another segment the next day, doubling down. "He stormed off because I touched a nerve," she said. "That's not my fault, that's his truth knocking." Meanwhile, Vin posted a cryptic video on Instagram, a slow pan of a deserted highway at sunset with the caption, "Silence speaks louder than spin." No direct mention of Joy or the view, but everyone knew the drama had legs and it refused to die. Fan-made compilations juxtaposed clips of Dominic Toretto growling about loyalty with Vin's interview walkout, painting him as either a tragic anti-hero or an unrepentant tyrant depending on the viewer's stance. Podcasts debated whether celebrity interviews had become too confrontational. Others blamed The View for ambushing guests under the guise of truth-telling. Memes flooded social media, from "Vin walking off with family doesn't do talk shows" captions to a Photoshop of Joy behind a steering wheel labeled fast and passive-aggressive. The studio released a statement that night, trying to downplay the controversy. "We respect all our guests and encourage open dialogue. Emotions can run high. That's the nature of live television." But the damage, or the buzz, had already been done. By the next morning, Vin canceled 2 more talk show appearances, with insiders saying he no longer trusted daytime media. Joy, on the other hand, saw a spike in her own ratings. Fans tuned in just in case another star walked off. Whoopi reportedly warned producers to give her a heads up next time something that explosive was coming down the pipeline. "We're entertainers," she said, "off-air, not bomb squads." Yet even within The View's production team, debate raged. Had Joy crossed a line, or had she just done what viewers demand: authenticity, at any cost? The fallout continued into the following week. Diesel's team released a calm, diplomatic message thanking fans for their support and reinforcing his belief in dignity over drama. But the internet had already made up its mind. Think pieces called it the day The View got too real, with some saying it marked a new era of celebrity accountability and others claiming it was all a stunt. In truth, the rawness of the moment couldn't be replicated. It was spontaneous combustion, 2 personalities colliding in real time with cameras rolling and stakes sky high. And what lingered long after wasn't just the walk-off or the viral quotes, it was that fleeting moment when the mask slipped and the world got a glimpse of something unfiltered, unpolished, and entirely unforgettable. Whether you stood with Diesel or Behar, one thing was clear: that segment had changed the game. A studio, interviews were never the same. Every new guest wondered, would today be the day they got the D? And yet, no apology was issued. No formal reconciliation followed. In a media landscape that thrives on resolution and redemption arcs, this moment stood defiantly unfinished. Joy Behar returned the next day like nothing happened, shifting the spotlight onto politics and pop culture without missing a beat. Vin disappeared from public view for weeks, leaving only echoes of that final glance back at the studio. Interviews were never the same. Every new guest wondered, would today be the day they got the Diesel treatment? Producers walked a finer line, balancing curiosity with caution. But for audiences, the question lingered like fuel fumes on a hot summer street. What happens when the tough guy decides he's done playing along? No final act, no reconciliation hug, just a door left swinging, and silence loud enough to drown out 1,000 engines.